Welcome. Welcome back to my channel Conquer the Fear. In this video, we are going to discuss how Spring Boot works internally. So if you are a fresher or if you are an experienced person, this video will definitely help you to understand what happens internally from start to finish. So make sure you watch this video till the end because I'm going to tell you each and everything start from the main class till the what happens inside the application one by one. So please stay back and watch the video till the end. Now Spring Boot is one of the framework that is built on the top of Spring framework. Now it is intended to make your process of development quite easy. It is used for having a production ready Spring Boot application created. It also removes the boilerplate configuration, and it is always promotes the convention over configuration. Okay, so this is one of the important breakdown how Spring Boot internally it works. It includes core components, it includes the classes, interfaces, the method names, so application flow, and also some important concepts. Now, Spring Boot overview. Okay, so Spring Boot is going to simplify your development by making use of auto configuration based on the context of class path or the context of the class path. Now, it also has an embedded server. So the default one is Tomcat. You can actually configure to JT as well. So reducing the need for an configuration we have application.properties, application.yml. So it is going to reduce that particular configuration. Also, we have a lot of starter dependencies. So let's say web is there, Spring Data JPA is there, HT database is there, Kafka is there, which are all starter dependencies, and all the dependents will be downloaded. So where we'll be maintaining the version and other things. Now it also supports actuator monitoring. So if you want to check your health of your application, we can make use of this particular thing. Now, if your application gets started, right, when you're trying to run, okay. So we have Spring Boot application, which is annotated with the @Spring Boot application. So we have a main method where we have a Spring application dot run method, which is going to have that particular class name along with an argument and the arguments over there. Now, important classes on the method. Now, this Spring Boot application is a combination of three annotations. One is @configuration, one is @enable auto configuration, and one is @component. Now, the Spring Boot application, which has got a static method called run method, so it is going to take an argument, okay, and it is responsible for bootstrapping your application, that is Spring Boot application, okay. So what happens internal, when your application gets started, how the flow internally works. Now, I break down this particular step into, in the details. The very first thing is that Spring application dot run executes. Okay, so that is where the starting point, the application start. The first what actually is try to do is that it is going to create a Spring Boot application instance. Okay, so it is going to prepare the application context is there. It is going to set up the environments, banner, login, etc. Second, it is going to determine what kind of application type it is. If it is a reactive, if it is a servlet, or it is none, which using the web application dot type, the reduced from class path. So this is one of the type which will determine how your application will be of type. Now load the initializer. Now Spring Factory, it is going to load the implementation of application context initializer. Now there are load listeners. We have event listeners like application listener, which is going to have the application starting event. So this like we have different events. Then at the fifth point is that we are going to prepare the environment. So in that it's going to load the configuration from application.properties or YML, the command line or the system environment. So after that there will be a display banner which is going to be an optional part. After that the create application context. So now you have annotated configs solid web application context like that, similar to that or any other annotation uh, context. Now application initializer, we call that, and then ultimately we are going to call the refresh method on, which is going to trigger the like Spring Boot lifecycle. Bean definitions are loaded, beans are instantiated. We have the dependency injection, which is going to be performed over there, and we call the post contract method, which is run. Okay. Now, after that, ultimately the call runner, so command line argumenter or application runner, which is going to be implemented, can be executed over here. Now, in auto configuration, there is a at the rate enable auto configuration, right? So it is going to look into your spring.factories. So it will load the implementation like enable auto configuration. There are important, classes like at the rate conditional on class, conditional on missing bean, then conditional on property. These are all the, condition interfaces and the classes. Let's say you have a data source auto configuration and web MVC auto configuration. So what have the when the flow how it works is that when a Spring sees that particular auto configure enable auto configuration, so it is going to match the conditions. It is going to load the bean accordingly, whatever it is going to match it. Okay. And now you will see here I segregated the auto configuration over here. Now at the start of this particular application, we have the Spring application. Okay, so it is going to bootstrap and start your application. Second, it is going to create your core Spring container. Then there is an application runner which is going to run your own logic with the context is loaded. Now, similar to this application runner, there is also a command liner argumenter where it get runs. Okay, then you can decide on interfaces to access certain properties based on the environment. We have the base class for the application event. We have interfaces like which is going to listen to certain events. Then we have a going to deploy your application to a servlet container either using the var or the jar file. Now there is a starter dot dependencies. Let's say your application, you want to create a web application, okay, and you want the application to support the Spring MVC plus the default Tomcat server. Okay, so we can make use of the starter web. So it is going to automatically configure all those particular transitive dependencies which are required for the application to make the web application. Second, we can have Spring Data JPA. So we can have the Hibernate or either Spring Data JPA as a combination. We can have it and perform the database operations. Spring Security, now we have this particular latest versions where there are a lot of different important updates has been provided here. Then comes Actuator, which is used for monitoring your health and the production. So there are certain endpoints which are exposed. Now these are all the necessary, going to pull down your all transitive dependency. Now if you look at this particular any form of dependency, you will see that particular when you click on that particular control and click on that, you will be able to see the exact versions, the exact library which is required and which will be downloaded when we have that particular starter web. Now we have the configuration files like we already know that application node properties or YML is there. We have some common properties like what is the port number, what is the database URL. We want to show some SQL file query, whatever is being firing. We can use Spring Data, JPA, show SQL. Now we can also inject the values of the property. Let's say you want the particular server dot property to be injected to certain attribute in your class. So you can use this particular thing, or you can also use at the rate configuration property, which can bind your groups. Now, actuator we already discussed, it is going to give you a production ready feature. So let's say health is there, metrics is there, info is there. So we have to just add that particular actual dependency. Now, while testing your Spring Boot application, we can make use of the Spring Boot test, which is used for integration testing. Okay. So in testing, there are different kind of testing. Unit testing is there, integration testing is there, behavior testing is there. Okay. So when you're using Spring Boot test, it is going to test your application. It is going to test how it is going to integrate. So you can also use WebMVC test. You can JPA data JPA test to test the database testing. Okay. Now, before I would say end of this, I'd like to know that when you are dealing with Spring Boot, right? So you need to know certain things. Now, these are profiles. We make use of the profile, which is going to load certain environment specific features or the configuration. They have tools which is going to, when you are doing the development, it is going to automatically restart and load that particular development changes what you have done. Now we have embedded server as Tomcat, which can be also be switched to any other like JT or Undertow. We can add the Spring security to all the endpoints or by the certain endpoints which you require based on the roles and other things. Now we can create your own custom starter also if you want certain dependencies of your own libraries to be created. Now application is going to run on the main thread, but we can actually have a different scheduling process where you can actually have separate threads created using the asynchronous flow, or you can actually create a scheduling process. Now you can also ultimately it is going to register a shutdown hook which is going to gracefully shut down your application if certain problem arises. Okay, so far whatever we have discussed, I have actually tried to give up a sum up diagram over here. If you see here, Spring Boot application is going to run, then it is going to set up the environment, it is going to load the properties, it is going to listen and initialize, and then it is going to create the context. It is going to load your auto configuration manually thing, then it is going to refresh it. Ultimately, at the end, the command liner and the application runner you can use. Okay, I hope this video was very helpful. If this video was helpful to you, please share this video with the needy people. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.